but you seem to get cast as a cop a lot.
Yes, yes.
So is this just typecasting? Or?
Honestly, it's you just take the jobs that come to you, and whatever it is, it's and just so happens that director likes my look in a cop uniform, so so it's a little bit of both. I don't mind; it's work for me, and I quite enjoy it.
This is Festival Pass Stories, a podcast series is told by the people who create and make festivals come to life. You will go behind the stage, kitchen, or studio door to hear the stories of passion and inspiration that started some of the world's most beloved festivals. Hear the startup stories and how an idea went from what if to what's next. This is the Festival Pass Stories podcast. We are, of course, presented by Dos Hombres, the artisanal mezcal meant to be shared. Created by Aaron Paul and Brian Cranston. Have a drink with us at doshombres.com/delivery. Speaking of the slash, I'm going to get into that in a moment. But folks, have you ever wanted the opportunity to invest in a product early? That could be the next Airbnb. Hey, tell me more about that. We'll learn why entrepreneurs and celebrities with exits approaching $10 billion, that is with a B, have already invested in Festival Pass. Go to invest.festivalpass.com to learn more. And speaking of that slash, friends, do you love action and do you love to eat? Yes, of course you do. It's action eating. Maybe we could title this episode Action Eating. Well, folks, you're in for a treat today because, these days people say, I'm a member of the gig economy or the slash economy. Like me, for instance, I'm an auctioneer, MC, podcast, / live stream shopping host, / all this stuff. But today, my guest is restaurateur, and I came up with the term restaurant-repreneur. Restaurant-repreneur. If you'd like, we can.
I like that.
If we can spell it, we'll throw it on a T-shirt. But he is restaurateur / stuntman / actor. When I say the slash with stuntman, that's really like you're actually getting slashed sometimes. So I hope you're doing okay. But ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's true. Not only is he the guy from that thing, but he's also the guy from that place. Please welcome the owner and founder of SUteiShi in downtown New York City. On a gorgeous, gorgeous day. He's live in the car, and he's actor / stuntman Victor Chan. And do you mind? I might just start calling you Victor / Chan. That could be your new nickname. It sounds pretty tough, but for a stuntman, you need that. How you doing?
Just call me Slash.
The cool kids on the street, just call him Slash.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. Look, we'll get into it. I always say that on these podcasts, right? We're going to get right into it. Like, what else were we going to do? But, you've been acting now, a working actor for over 30 years. And for someone who, minus a little bit of gray on top there, you still look like you're 30. So that's impressive. I'm impressed with that. How did you first get the acting bug? Take us back. Was this something in your family? Something you went to school for?
No, it's the old cliche. I went to an all-boy high school and aviation high school, and thus went to a vocational college, Spartan School of Aeronautics, and it was all boys, So yeah. I actually wanted to meet some girls. That's the old cliche. I think he was talking about it. Just want to meet some girls. Just want to meet some girls, yeah. And I was working as an aircraft mechanic at the time and doing pretty well. And I just needed a change. And I thought maybe acting, I could meet more people. And so I started to get myself involved in that and found myself as an extra in a movie. In Chinatown, and the stunt coordinator came out and said, "I need somebody to take a punch." And I raised my hand and I said, "I get beat up by my brothers. I'm the youngest of 5 all the time."
Yeah, you're like, I actually I have a full resume of getting my butt kicked, so I'm ready for this.
Exactly, and so he pulled me out, and it's one of those. Rare things that happen when you get upgraded as an extra, So I got upgraded to do this stunt. I take a punch from an older Japanese guy and a Chinese guy, and who has chi powers. It's internal power, and I'm on an air ram. I self trigger, and I go flying back as he punches me, and in this little kitchen of a Chinese restaurant. So that was my first stint, and that's how I got started, really.
So you're an extra on this film, and they're like, "Hey, we need someone to inject real heroin in their arm," and you're like, "Yeah, I'll do it. That sounds good, man."
Sounds good.
Yeah, are there girls also doing the heroin? But that's incredible. So this is your first gig, as an extra, and immediately get upgraded. No, and I've done some extra work, which is excruciating, and you're sitting around for 15 hours, and you're in the background of a scene somewhere, and you know, as an auctioneer, I've even sold those parts. It's like, we'll have an actor there, and they're like, "You want to be an extra in the next movie with me?" And we start selling that. Then afterwards, people are like, "You know, I didn't realize I was going to have to take a whole day off of work to be walking in the background on a city street." Like, what did you think?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Right place, right time is the axiom here.
So what I was seeing on IMDb, it looked like that you were an actor for a couple of years, and then you made the move over to the stunts. But so this happens day one, and I know he's in his car right now, folks, because you just came from the gym. All right, he's still working out. 30 years later, he's still like got to stick an hour. It's like a Zoom meeting for us. But for him, he's got an hour every day, a standing meeting at the gym, so he can add another punch. This is
CrossFit. Yep.
But from that first experience as an extra / stuntman, suddenly, were you able to immediately make the jump into that? Are you now labeled the stunt guy?
Yeah, I'm just a stuntman. I took the quote unquote actor off because I'm frankly not that good of an actor, but I can die real well. So
very good.
I can take a punch. Yeah. I'm good at dying, and so I never really pursued. From that point on, really, the very next week, another stunt coordinator needed an Asian guy, and he said, "Well, I use this guy Victor Chan," and so he found me on through my resumes at like the soaps at the time, One Life to Live, and gave me a call, and it just kept on going in that direction. So I never really even pursued, acting any further. It just was all stunts.
In those daytime dramas, there's a lot of punching going on. So I imagine,
I never really got to work on any of the daytime dramas. Yeah. At that time, back in 91, there was no, I shouldn't say no, but there was hardly any Asian actors for me to double.
Right.
So I typically got the roles of the Asian Chinese delivery guy that got beat up, Chinese delivery guy that got mugged, and Chinese delivery guy that got killed or whatever. So kind of broke me in that type of situation. And even though I did know some martial arts, I never pawned myself or advertised that I am a martial artist. So I'm just known as a ground pounder is what they call me, yeah.
Ground pounder. It's interesting because when you see these castings for shows, the casting agents, they have to be so exact. Sometimes it almost comes off as racist, like looking for white, drunk Irish guy with beard. And I'm like, hey, that's me. And I'm like, I'm also offended by that. But is that like, so your agent calls you up and it's like, good news, they're looking for an Asian guy who can deliver food on a bike and can take a punch, and you're like, that happens to be, I can do that.
Well, so I have no agent. There's no agent involved in stunts. It's all hired by the stunt coordinator. So the stunt coordinator has a pool of people that they go to and see. They read the script and understand what the action is, and they see who can fit those, who can pull off the action best. And it's really who you want to hang out with, also, who can do the job for 12, 14 hours as well. So
it's a lot of sitting around and waiting for the action, quite literally the action.
Yeah.
But on that note of, being typecast or whatever. This is, and you said no agent. I'm surprised about that. But you seem to get cast as a cop a lot.
Yes, yes.
So is this just typecasting, or was this secretly deep down where you're like, I love law enforcement and I want to protect my city? Did you want to be a cop?
Not at all.
Nope. You got the wrong guy.
Honestly, it's you just take the jobs that come to you, and whatever it is, it's and just so happens that director likes my look in a cop uniform. So, a lot of times now, the stunt coordinator will hand over 4 or 5 names and pictures of who can do the stunt. And then now the director kind of picks them out of who he wants them in his film. But previously, it was all the stunt coordinators who picked out the people. So it's a little bit of both. I don't mind. It's worked for me, and I quite enjoy it.
So at the end of a day as a cop, I mean, do you immediately get changed on set, or do you ever walk off the set in the cop uniform and somebody's like, hey, there's a guy getting stabbed over there, and you're like, which is unfortunately very common right now in New York, and you're like, look, I'm not a cop, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a stuntman. Like, has anything like that ever happened?
No, they have very strict protocols on movie set, on the set, that you cannot walk off the set with the cop uniform. So you either have to take the jacket off, you have to cover the badge, you always return your fake sidearm. So you're never walking off the set as a cop. So they're very, you got to put an overcoat on you or something to so that situation doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, those props cost money. They're not letting you take home any souvenirs. And they want to help you avoid situations where you might all of a sudden have to be not a stunt actor, but like really get down into the action.
Right, yeah.
Which could be pretty dangerous. But you've had some memorable roles along the way in Donnie Brasco, in The Departed, The Royal Tenenbaums. We could go on all day on these movies, but we've got some questions from the fans. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna get into those questions right now because the fans.
I didn't know I had fans.
Yeah, well, you got them. They wrote in. We said we teased that this episode was coming on, so the fans wrote in. And I'm not saying that those fans' names are Ed Vincent or not, but perhaps they could be the founder and CEO of Festival Pass. But let's start with this one here. So, you mentioned you're very good at dying, which is impressive. It's quite a skill and interesting to see on a resume. But you've been killed a few times in movies. And, which actor who killed you was your favorite killing moment, or favorite actor who killed you?
So I would say it was Matt Damon.
Matt Damon killed you. Yeah. Wow, I can't say that.
He stabs me in The Departed, but what the cool story that's pretty cool in itself. But the cool part is that Martin Scorsese was directing Departed, and so his AD came and said to me, Martin wants a word with you. So I said, sure. So I figured he wanted to give me some direction on how I die or whatever. And so I go to Martin, and he's in his van with all the monitors all set up and everything. They slide the door open, and he says to me, you, I like the way you die. You're not like the other stunt people.
And then, oh my God.
So I
what a compliment.
So I say, coming from you, Mr. Scorsese, I take that as a great compliment. I really appreciate it. And so I'm standing there waiting for him to give me some direction, or I'm just standing there, and he's like, no, that's it. Get out of here. So he just wanted to pull me aside to give me a compliment, which was fantastic.
It's amazing. This is a Academy Award winning director.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah.
He should have had 7, but I think he finally had 1. But wow. So when you're watching Shawshank Redemption and Red says, get busy living or get busy dying. You're like, I'll get busy dying because Martin Scorsese says I'm very good at it. So I'm going to get busy doing that.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it was a great compliment. A highlight of my career for being a stunt person.
Yeah, well, Matt Damon killed me, kids, and that's how Grandpa became famous. I love it. Have you ever won a fight on film, or is that just not in the cards for you to win a fight?
It's not. I mean, we don't get seen. Like in the Joker. I was in the Joker, and we're outside, and we're having a ruckus with the police. We're the establishment, sick and tired of the rich, and. And so we get into
real themes happening in Hollywood imitating life.
Yeah.
Imitating life.
Or on the show The Leftovers, we had a big gang fight, So it's really not about winning or losing. It's just about creating the action and creating the chaos of the scene. So they never focus on one person, especially me. I'm just another cog in the wheel, and I help create the mood of that the director wants to create for that scene.
So you never go over to the director and you're like, "Look, man, I
gotta win. I gotta win this fight." Yeah, no, it doesn't happen. Yeah.
I've been getting my ass kicked for 30 years of the job here. Come on, can't I just win one? All right. So I wasn't sure if you had like an official record, like you were 725 or 725.
Yeah, I'm 0-300.
Yeah, well, one of these days we're gonna let you win. Now, again, the fans, the questions keep pouring in. This is incredible. So I saw as well, Sex in the City, and Devil Wears Prada. Why does a show like Sex in the City or a movie like Devil Wears Prada need a stuntman? I mean, is there like a hair pulling incident? Like, are you coordinating it? It's the fans. I'm just reading the questions from the fans.
Yeah. So in Devil Wears Prada, it actually was a very calm scene that I was in. I was on the street and man, what's the actress's name? I'm forgetting.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. She's beautiful, by the way. She walks around with a surfboard and she's like discombobulated and swinging that thing around. So we're just one of the pedestrians that she hits with the surfboard. So that was a very easy stunt. They don't want an extra or somebody doing that because then they can, I don't know, fake injury or we're quote unquote professionals to take it. Yeah. So that was, that's what they call an easy day. You have to earn those days, but with some hard days. Yeah. I was doing a stunt job in Succession as a security guard that walks one of the characters out, and people have called me and said, Victor, why is that a stunt job? You just, will you do extra work? You just walk the character out and that was it. And I said, well, that was just one take out of several takes. The other takes, the guy was kicking and screaming. We had to carry him out. We had to subdue him. We had to, and then at the, there's a few scenes like that where he was just kicking and screaming. And then me and the other guard had to drag him out and even carry him out at one point. And then they wanted one very calm one where he just walks out and we're just behind him. And that's the one that they used. So it's, the rest went on to what they call the cutting room floor. And, but hey, I still get paid. So that's the bottom line.
So what kind of stunts were taking place on Sex and the City?
So I actually worked a few times on Sex and the City, but the memorable one is I play a student drunk and who knocks into Sarah Jessica Parker, and she falls down the steps. So they want somebody who's experienced on film and not an extra to bump into her and then also be able to catch her if something went wrong or be heads up for the whole scene. So I'm showing my age by doing that. now with Sex in the City. But yeah, so it was a simple. That too was a simple stunt. But it's more about the experience that I have and that they wanted and for that scene. Yeah.
Well, you said drunk student. Now that would have been a casting role for me. That would have been perfect. I really would have nailed that one. The questions keep coming in. I got pages of this stuff. We could do this all day, but I'll wrap it up with one or two more questions. Now, in Donnie Brasco, you famously get beat up by Michael Madsen, and well, not just Michael Madsen. I believe he was Sonny. Yep, he was Sonny Black. Depp. He was Sonny Black, I believe. Yeah, if I remember my Donnie Brasco, and leading into that scene. It was Johnny Depp's character. He had a tape recorder in his boot. I mean, this was based in the 70s. So they didn't have like mini cameras that fit in your the side of your eyeglass for FBI work. He had like a full-on tape recorder, in his boot. And that was the whole controversy. He's like, I'm not taking off my boots. I don't do this. I don't do this for nobody. And, and it got a little crazy. He was talking about Vietnam or something. And it got real heated, and he had to go there so that his character didn't. But then the scene happens, and they pull you into the bathroom. You're the maitre d'. You're doubling for the maitre d'.
Yep.
And, I mean, you got it. Look, of course, this is film, so we're watching. But I'm watching, and I was like, that's one of, like, the nastiest butt kickings I've ever seen. I don't know how they did that without actually kicking him.
No, they were actually kicking me.
Really? So, like, these guys are full method actors at this point, and they just had this fiery, nearly racist scene happen, and they take you in the bath, and they're really kicking you.
Yeah, I get flung into the bathroom, up against the wall, and then, so I'm padded up. So, so I don't feel the brunt of, I don't feel the full force of it, but I still feel, kind of the brunt of it. Right. So it was a scene that I had to remember while I was getting beat up to try to grab Johnny at one point. You'll see that in the scene, because I had to kind of grab, like they all calm down and start calming down after they beat me up for a couple minutes. Yeah. And then I go to grab Johnny and take a swing at him. And then they start beating me up again because I was still mobile. And then after the scene, Michael Madsen came to me and he said, they're always casting me as a bully, and I'm beating up on one person or another. But you took the worst beating I ever gave anybody, he said. And I'm happy to pay for a massage, he said to me, which was a great compliment.
Oh, did you take him up on the massage? It wasn't from him. He wasn't like, I'm gonna give you a massage. You're like, no, thanks. I'm here to meet girls. I may have, I don't know. I told you
that. Exactly.
But he was like, I'll give you a gift certificate for a massage. Wow.
Yeah, he was very gracious. Yeah, it was very, very nice. All of them: Johnny Depp, Michael Madsen, Bruno Kirby. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. And then I got to meet the famous Al Pacino afterwards.
Okay, afterwards.
I was telling Johnny Depp that, where's Al? I would have loved to meet Al. And he's like, oh, you want to meet Al Pacino? I said, yeah, I would love to meet Al Pacino. And so, Al Pacino's not really in the bathroom scene. He's kind of outside, standing outside. So he wasn't in the scene. So after we got wrapped up, Johnny Depp says to me, hey, Victor, Al's here if you want to meet him. And I said, sure. And so he brought Al over, and he says, Al, this is Victor Chan. We just beat him. We worked him over pretty well in the bathroom.
He's still in character. We worked him over.
Yeah. And so Al looks at me up and down, and I'm in my street clothes because we're already wrapped and washed up. He goes, he looks fine to me.
You're like, Al, in the bathroom, they really kicked him hard. Michael Madsen said it's the worst beating he ever gave anybody.
Yeah. So and he was. It was actually an honor for me to meet him, Al Pacino, one of my heroes.
The fans also said that you were in did a couple episodes of The Sopranos, and you had a famous moment with Tony. I'm trying to remember because I could pass pretty much any Sopranos trivia contest, and I was trying to picture you in one of these episodes. Was this more of a background thing, or what happened with you and Tony?
No, you may remember a scene where his mother was in the hospital, and
Yes.
he wanted to go see his mother, and then the security guards were stopping him. I'm one of the security guards that grabs Tony from behind. I have a great picture I could share with you for
Here you go. Here's my Tony Soprano. Let me know what you think.
That's my motto right there. You get your hands off me. Don't even think about it. I'll take you out right now. Do you know who I am?
I can do that.
Oh, that's great. I'm sorry, sir, but you'll have to exit the hospital now.
Don't even think about it. Get your hands off me. I'm Anthony Soprano.
All right. Well, look, that's it for the fan segment. But thank you to the fans, and thank you for being so gracious with that. And Tony Soprano seems like a good jumping off point to start talking about food, right? So let's get to the other part of the slash, on the other side of the slash of your life as restaurateur. So the restaurant is called SUteiShi, Japanese, and much like your acting career, it's got quite a following, and that's how we met, from friends in the neighborhood who love the restaurant. They love the atmosphere. It's fine dining, great cocktails. What's the history behind this? Like, how do you go from acting to this?
I wish it was just a clear path that way, but I stumble into things.
Okay, just like acting, just like Stuntman.
Just like the stunts. And I had a cafe at the time doing back then paninis were really hot. I didn't want to call them paninis. Like, I called them Slamwiches.
Slamwiches, nice. Like a smash burger, but a Slamwich.
Yeah, exactly. And I later sold the trademark to Denny's.
Get out of here.
That's just another story, yeah.
They had the Grand Slam, right?
Yep, the Grand Slam breakfast, yep. So that's why I guess why they needed the Slamwich trademark that I had.
Love it.
So that was out by the South Street Seaport, and I operated that for 3 years, and the Seaport needed their space back. It was on a short-term lease, and so as I was looking around for space in the Seaport area here, the Fulton Fish Market had moved out. They went into to the Bronx. Yeah. And the real estate guy is showing me this real piece of real estate here, and I'm looking at the Brooklyn Bridge through 2 garage doors that open up. And I said, nobody's going to walk this far for a Slamwich, but it speaks sushi to me. How much do they want? How much do they want for the rent?
Yeah.
And the real estate guy was just put in a bid. And so I put in a bid, and I wrote this proposal up for a sushi restaurant, and they came back with $100 on top of my bid. And I said, I guess I'm doing sushi. And that's how I got into the business.
Yeah, you drive a hard bargain, an extra $100, fine. That's two Cosmos from Sex and the City, or 2 Cosmos at my place. So, which is amazing. So it was like, boom, sushi, and we're going to do sushi.
Yeah, I literally, and I have to give my wife a lot of credit for this. I literally bet the house on it, because I second mortgage my house to finance it. Wow,
the dream, to make the dream, to chase the dream. Amazing. Yes, the women are behind all of the great decisions in our life. The women drive all the great decisions in our life. We have to, of course, acknowledge that. So well done to your wife. Now, were either of you, I mean, did you have to bring in a sushi chef, or was this something you're like, we'll learn how to do this? I mean, it's quite an art.
No, I had no restaurant experience. I never worked at as a wait staff person or any. I just had a cafe, and that served sandwiches.
I'm just making sandwiches.
When I was doing that, while I was doing that, I had a customer who came in and saw that I was going crazy, cleaning this, doing that, all this stuff. And he says to me, he says, you should pick up this book. It's called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. And I said, E-Myth, what's that? And so I picked it up and I read it, and I cried. Because I was that character, Sally, who's doing everything,
Wow.
And so I had to learn really how to run a business. And that's when the Entrepreneurs Organization came in also.
Okay.
And actually, he saw me make the changes from the Michael Gerber book. And then he says, you'd be a good candidate for EO. And I was like, EO, what's that? And he goes, Entrepreneurs Organization. And so that's how I got my business education, really.
You said, sorry, I can't join. I'm already part of the restaurant-repreneurs organization, RO. Okay, I can't join your thing too.
Exactly.
Well, that's incredible. And obviously for the last 14 months, and you've been there for 15 years, is that correct?
Yeah, 16 years now, yeah. Yeah.
16 years, and minus the past 14 months. I know it's just been hell.
It was worse during Hurricane Sandy.
Oh, right. From where you were.
We had to survive through, the whole restaurant was destroyed with 6 feet of floodwater.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to come back and rebuild from that. And then now we have this fun thing here with the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the hits keep on coming.
The hits keep on coming.
In Hurricane Sandy, I mean, you walked in and the place was just destroyed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was.
What did you do? What was your first step? Were you like, we're going to rebuild, or were you just talking to your insurance people? And what was the first step when you see that kind of destruction? It must have been heartbreaking.
Well, after the initial shock of the power of the water flipping over everything, we had a 500-pound ice machine that it just flipped over, and just total devastation. And so after that initial shock, I was like, all right, let's clean this thing up. I want to get it open within the month. It was like my enthusiasm. And unbeknownst to me, we were part of a it's a thermal project here at the South Street Seaport, and the thermal heating. And so all those parts were extremely hard to get, or not in supply.
Okay.
And so the landlord decided to convert into traditional heating and air conditioning. So I was actually not even allowed back into the restaurant for almost a year.
Oh my God.
While they did it. Yeah.
Wow. And then you remodel and reopen, and then it's like, here we go. Now we got to recoup these losses, but we're gonna continue to do it. We're tough small business folks. And then fast forward, not that much longer later, this beauty of a pandemic. And this is much different. This is totally different from anything else. And I mentioned you have a great following there. People love the food, but people love the atmosphere as much as they love the food. And without that atmosphere, how were you able to still stay connected to those loyal customers and get through this ordeal?
Yeah, I would say social media was our main vehicle for communicating what we were doing. We did close for six weeks at the height of the pandemic, and with loyal workers and the employees, they came back, and we were able to do takeout and delivery. And to maintain that in a small scale, we were just doing it in the evening, and slowly that built up. And as the weather and the COVID simmered, we started picking up in business.
And I imagine during that time, you're probably doing 25 jobs. I've heard of entrepreneurs in restaurants that are like, I own the place. I ended up making a couple deliveries myself. Every single job that you were already doing, wearing all these hats.
Right. That plus trying to keep the morale of the team and keep people safe and adhere to all these changing CDC guidelines and all this stuff. So it was an ordeal. Yeah. And I'm glad it's coming to. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I would say we're not totally out.
Yeah, it's that's one of those pandemic buzzword phrases we've been using to go along the way. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and at the end of that tunnel, what can we expect from SUTeiShi? Because folks, come back to New York. We need you. We need the tourism. We need local people to get back into the market as well. But what can I expect if I'm going to walk into SUTeiShi today?
Well, you can expect a great outdoor dining area. You can expect great service. We rebuilt our team. We hired some new people and who are eager and very friendly and just all these new personalities. It's refreshing. It really is. We stuck with the traditions of quality sushi, so you can always depend on that.
And now that the films are starting to happen again, TV shows are starting to do full on productions again.
Yeah.
Can you let us know where we'll see you next on film getting your butt kicked?
Yeah, I'm currently filming. It's the Wu-Tang. I'm not sure if it's a movie or a TV show, actually, but we've been filming that for the last week, and we'll through rehearsals, and now we'll be filming in the next couple of weeks.
Wu-Tang forever, man. Cash rules everything around me. Cream with the money, dollar bill y'all, and take those dollar bill y'alls down to SUteiShi. Get some of the best sushi in New York City, if not the best sushi in New York City. Support small businesses, friends. Check them out. How do we find you on Instagram, and how do you find, because this was obviously been, the social media has been big for you guys. So how do we find you?
SUteiShi.com. It's SUTEISHI.com.
And then on Instagram, at SUteiShi?
Yeah, at SUteiShi, yep. And Facebook, same thing with Facebook, yeah.
All right, folks, you know where to go when you come back to New York City. And look for Victor in an upcoming film or the Wu-Tang show, whatever it is going to be. And look for some great sushi on your plate next time you go to SUteiShi. And if you haven't checked it out, please go. And hey, can I get a table? Would you let me? Is there too many guys down there now?
Pat, you have a name on a special table for you, Pat.
I love it. Thank you very much, folks. That's it. Thank you, Victor Chan, for being an awesome guest here today. And we'll see everybody next time on Festival Pass Stories.
Take care.
This is Festival Pass Stories, a podcast series is told by the people who create and make festivals come to life. You will go behind the stage, kitchen, or studio door to hear the stories of passion and inspiration that started some of the world's most beloved festivals. Hear the startup stories and how an idea went from what if to what's next.